So we come to the 29th move of the whole 3 forms put together. Again, 3 Qigong sequences, they're 8 move sequence based on the 8 brocades with this mixture of breath that I'll explain in a minute. And we've got 18 form Qigong sequence, and we open and close them, and then we come into the last one as a 9 sequence that I picked up in Himalayas. So it's 3 forms put together, basically 35 moves, so 8 form, 18 form and a 9 form. This is the last form, which is 9 form. It's the 3rd move of that, which is it's 29 move of the whole 35 sequence. Doesn't matter, you can do these individually or you can do them in sequence. I put the numbers in that, but again I'm going to go more into the breath because again I'm just taking the movement. Again, I won't get too caught up in it. It's very specifically traditionally, etc. I've done the traditional meridians and organs, etc. they're linked to, but again I've just took the moves and just put a yogic feel with a breath, a Pilates, a mixture of yoga, Pilates and hypnotherapy type breath in there. But again, the movement, there's a little bit of movement to this one, bit of breath synchronized movement, vinyasa. But again, let's go into the breathing. So let's get that breathing in. So again, we're just going to zip up pelvic floor, scoop out your abdominals, take your navels towards your spine. As you zip up pelvic floor and scoop out your abdominals, then muscles go together. Okay, I'm saying them segmentally, you can't do one without the other. Okay, and that will naturally help us breathe into these lower lobes of lungs, anywhere but the stomach. So as you do that right now, breathe in through the nose and exhale through pursed lips as you zip up pelvic floor and scoop out your abdominals. That'll help you breathe anywhere but the belly button. That's going to help you breathe into these lower lobes of lungs, the intercostals, the ribs, anywhere but the stomach, because there's nowhere else the breath to go apart from into them lower lobes of lungs, the intercostals, the ribs, anywhere but the stomach. And as with the Pilates principles, that helps us use the 3rd layer deep, the corset muscle and the pelvic floor in the most efficient manner, helping us breathe anywhere but the belly button to support our spine and our movements. Again, that's the Pilates principles. A little bit, that's lateral thoracic breathing as you keep on breathing in through the nose and exhaling through pursed lips. So it's just sort of blowing out a candle through pursed lips as you keep zipping up pelvic floor, scooping out your abdominals. Lovely. It helps you use the transverse abdominis, the corset muscle, which Pilates is based on, which supports our spine. Lovely. Now with that, we're going to go a little bit down the yogic path, similar-ish to Ashtanga yoga breath, but again, not quite. Again, we're still zipping up pelvic floor and scooping out your abdominals right now. Breathe in through the nose, but we're going to close the mouth and breathe out through the nose to lengthen the whole wheel cycle of the breath. And as you lengthen the whole wheel cycle of the breath, okay, through that smaller filter through the nose right now, that would help you get in the asanas even easier, okay, by lengthening the whole wheel cycle of the breath in yoga. Again, there's many different breaths, but we're sticking to the sort of basic one. Breathing in out through the nose, but you're still zipping up pelvic floor and scooping out your abdominals, keeping the navel towards the spine, zipping up pelvic floor, scooping out your abdominals, and the breath is still going into these lower lobes of lungs. Lovely. Now, you'll find the breath lengthens out through the nose there because it's a smaller filter through the nose. So just allow that to happen. And if you take your mind to the out breath, you'll feel you want to naturally lengthen that out breath longer than the in breath. So just allow that to happen and consciously take your mind to that out breath and lengthen it, quadruple it, double it, triple it, whatever you like. Just make the out breath longer than the in breath. Lovely. So we've gone from the yogic breath to sort of like into the hypnotherapy breath by lengthening the out breath. So there's a mixture of all the 3 breaths there, okay, as you keep zipping up pelvic floor and scooping out your abdominals, just like at the beginning. But again, you're breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, while lengthening that out breath longer than the in breath. Within your limits, don't force anything. You can quadruple it, double it, triple it, whatever you like. Just make the out breath longer than the in breath. And with the hypnotherapy principles, the in breath is conscious thought, the out breath is subconscious thought. So by extending the out breath longer than the in breath, we're encouraging sleep, digestion, rest, and relaxation to all be benefited by lengthening the out breath longer than the in breath. All the housekeeping properties of the body, things you don't think about, cellular function, digestion, etc. That repair and renewal, all dealt with the parasympathetic mind, the subconscious part of your mind, heartbeat, blood pressure, all benefited by elongating the out breath longer than the in breath. As you become aware of the sound of the breath, the feel of the breath, you can just stay with that breath. That's a mixture of all three breaths. Okay, and again, just allow that simplicity to relax your mind. Breathing out through the nose while lengthening the out breath longer than the in breath, as you're still zipping up pelvic floor and scooping out your abdominals. Now again, you can stick with that, or if you want to make it a little bit more advanced yogic breath, more like the Ujjayi breath, victorious breath, then we're going to grip at the esophagus and narrow the esophagus and make a sighing, whistling, silky sound, like a Darth Vader breath. So again, anyways, to demonstrate, we're going to breathe in through the nose still, and it's like going with the mouth shut. It's like a sighing, whistling, silky breath. Breathing in through the nose as you grip at the esophagus, narrow the esophagus. Keeping them shoulders down, and it's a sighing, whistling, silky breath, seashore breathing. Again, in Sanskrit, it's called Ujjayi breath, victorious breath. Okay, that gives the mind something to focus on. If you can't get that, don't worry. Carry on the breathing you're doing. Quite a little bit advanced breath, but if you can get it, great. If you want to do it, that's going to help us lengthen the breath even longer. So as you're still zipping up pelvic floor, scooping out your abdominals, taking the navel towards the spine, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Okay, just bring your mind to here and now. Any sounds outside, just be aware of the sound of the breath, the feel of the breath, especially with that Ujjayi breath. It's like a raspy, silky sound from the back of the throat, which help us give the mind something to focus on. It's a natural focusing breath. We do it sometimes naturally in everyday life when we're trying to focus on something, a fine motor skill. But again, if you can get that, great. Otherwise, stick with the breathing you're doing. And just be aware of the sound of the breath, the feel of the breath, as it weaves that tapestry of relaxation, and every single organ, cell, sinew of the body at will. Lovely. Ujjayi breath, victorious breath, helps stimulate the thyroid gland, which helps with weight control, etc. Helps us even more build the heat in the body, fan the fire, to burn all the toxins in the body. Ujjayi breath, victorious breath. Lovely. And that'll help us once more elongate the whole will cycle of breath, like on our yogic principles. Lovely. So whatever breath you got there, we're going to go a little bit of vinyasa, breath synchronized movement. We're going to calibrate and synchronize the breath and the motion. Again, vinyasa in Sanskrit. Again, there's a lot of breathing with this one. I'm going to go straight through it. So again, from here, feet hip width apart, again, or slightly wider. When we dip, if you want to dip, we're going to come down here for the spine. You can soften the knees a little bit more, but no more than knees in line with toes, or less if you like. Okay, we use the Iyengar yoga principles, optional. So when you're ready, we're going to wrap the hands in, and then we're going to exhale down, nice and slow, unstacking the vertebrae bone by bone, keep the knees soft. Again, elongate the out breath longer than the in breath. Then you're going to breathe in, come up. I'll come back and demonstrate this, and then we're going to exhale, push away the walls. Step one foot back in a reverse cat stance. You'd be on the ball of the foot or the flat of the foot. Ball of the foot is a little bit more on the stability. Then we're going to breathe in, come back. Keep the shoulders down. exhale down. Same in the middle each time. Again, feet together or slightly parted to make it easier. So you stick the feet together to make it harder. The lumbar region of the spine as you unstack the vertebrae nice and slow with the out breath. A little bit quicker on the in breath as you come up, like a wave of relaxation, shoulders down. Then you alternate to the other side. You take the other leg back, 2 hands, 1 leg. On the ball of the foot or on the heel of the foot. As you gather in, zip up and hollow. Breathing, coming back. Exhaling down, nice and slow with the exhale each time. In breath a little bit quicker. Then you go on the other side. Exhale. Feel that stretch, little pinkies, little fingers. You open out the chest. Shoulders down, lengthen up for the crown. Breathing, coming back. Exhale down, nice and slow. Again, breathing, coming up. And it's an exhale. As you take that foot back, can be on the ball of the foot or the heel of the foot. Again, a little bit more instability on the ball of the foot. Breathing, coming back. Exhaling down for longer. And breathing, coming up. Thinking with the bones, talking with the bones. Exhale back. 2 arms, 1 leg. Shoulders down, lengthen up for the crown. Gather in, zip up and hollow. Again, you go back on the heel, get that stretch. Or on the ball of the foot for more instability. See what suits you. It's your union of your mind and body. Breathing, coming back. Exhaling down. Be long with the out breath as you unstack the vertebrae. You want to support the thighs, you can do. You've got problems with the back, you can do. Or you can widen the feet a little bit, hip width apart, or keep the feet together. Again, feet together will be hard on the lumbar region and spine. Again, a bit more open with the feet will be easier. As you exhale down, nice and long. Breathing, coming up. Again, you're gonna exhale. Again, nice and long with the exhales. You open out the chest, all the organs in the chest, the heart, the lungs, the pericardium, the heart line, all being opened out like a book. Breathing in, coming back, exhaling down. Nice and long with the exhale. As you think tiny waist, navel towards the spine, breathing, coming up, exhale. Lovely job. Again, if your knees can take it, you can always step that way. So as you come back, exhale there. You get these ITB bands here, down the sides of the legs, the tensor fasciolati muscles. A little bit of a stretch, really. You're going to breathe in, come back, and then you're going to exhale. But again, so there you go. If that's a bit tough on your knees, don't go there. Breathing in, coming back, and then you exhale down. And you breathe in, come up. But all you do is step out that way. But again, not everyone will be able to take that on the knee, so I just modified it a little bit. That's the way I've seen it taught, but I've modified it a little bit, again, just to go backwards in a sort of 2D plane. But if you want to step across and cross the legs out the back, you can do. But again, remember, it's your union of your mind and body. Lovely. So that was the 29th of the whole 35 moves, 3 forms put together, hypno, yoga, Pilates, qigong sequence. Lovely, bang. White crane, spread 6 wings. Bang.